And then the very next day on the news, someone had been bitten by a saltwater croc.
That is there so that if a saltwater croc comes along, apparently they're very inquisitive, they bite it.
You can completely understand why this track is closed in the wet season. I'm not wearing this bikini top because I think it'll get me more YouTube views. I'm so hot right now. Welcome to another episode of Adventure Intel. Strap in for a ripper adventure that takes us from Daly Waters to Bitter Springs and Mataranka, through the gorges at Nitmiluk National Park, Litchfield National Park, and finally Kununurra, where we prep for our next challenge, the notorious Gibb River Road. First, we begin at the iconic Daly Waters, where of course we spent a few days at the pub with its hanging bars, quirky decor, live music, travel markings along the wall, and great pub feeds. It's a must visit for any big lapper. First, we took a walk through Tim's junkyard, situated just across the road from the pub. It's full of weird and wonderful things, and it seriously feels like you take a step back in time when you're in there. So this is Tim's junkyard, and my grandma, if you're watching this, she won't be because she doesn't even have a mobile phone, but this reminds me of my grandma's back room. Just a ton of collectibles, memorabilia, really, really interesting stuff. That's why it attracts so many crowds to come and check it out, but it is like a hoarder's paradise. I feel like everyone comes here and just beelines for the pub, but this is only across the road, and I would definitely recommend coming here. $6 a person, you just pay the little tin at the front. It's an honesty system, of course. Really cool to see what's inside here.
Isn't that insane? That truck went all the way to war and came back. Now we're looking at it. This Chevy panel van here, if you just take a look up the back, but you can't guess what its last job was. Of course, carting dead bodies, or stiffs, as they apparently called them, in South Africa, the morgue.
What's really cool about this retro caravan behind us, this is a 1950s caravan, but you still see them all around in the wild. So we'll pull up obviously to these caravan parks, which have an array of different, setups and caravans. Josh and I always circle the park just to check out what everyone has. We just love checking out everyone's setup. But you'll still find these being refurbished and still circulated, still towed, which is super cool that it's both in a museum and still out in the wild.
I can't tell if it's real or not, but this could be like one of the original big rig setups in Australia. It's so bloody cool. It feels all very American, but in Australia. These 50 split screens are fetching an astronomical price right now, probably for a long time into the future. I dare say Tim will be holding on to this one.
So the Highway Palace right here, that was kind of the 1940s version of a motorhome. It was built in the 1940s and cost around $2,000, which they said was around the price of a house back then. The decision between buying a caravan or buying a house still exists today.
This is wild. For ages I always wanted to do a build like this, but on a four-wheel drive, where you get the old school outside and then retrofit all the new inside. So this is like a 60s model Holden in here, but it's got like, you can see through the window, but the controls from what I reckon probably like a VT Commodore. It's got a big LS motor up the front. If this was done in a four-wheel drive, it would be so cool. We're just in Daly Waters Pub, we're outside it, and it just reminded me, people ask how we get our mail on the road and stuff like that. We just pick where we're going ahead of time, get it sent there. So we picked up our mail for this run from the Daly Waters Pub yesterday. Easy as that, very lovely of them to hold it for us, we appreciate it. We did a whole lot of really dusty roads to get here, and Jess and I were talking this morning because the Dometic dust suppression system in this van has been so good. We get inside and there's literally like not a speck of dust, but then out here it's full of it. Yesterday was an absolute dust storm just in the town, so it is everywhere. but not in there, and we're so happy about it.
We couldn't leave Daly Waters before checking out its historic aerodrome. This World War II heritage site has the oldest hangar in the Northern Territory. It's also the site of Australia's first international airport. It's amazing the amount of history still readily available to be viewed and visited as you travel across Australia.
I don't know what it is about this stuff, but I absolutely froth it. This modern history, when it's left for us to explore ourselves, is just so cool. Look at this.
I love the fact that you can reminisce on the years that have gone by whilst you simultaneously make new memories touring the country.
And have a go at this. What certainly looks to be remnants of an aircraft. Air grade alloy. You expect to kind of see Churchill's spies sitting there or something. It's just incredible.
We passed through the tiny town of Larrimah before heading on to Mataranka, where we stayed at the Bitter Springs campground. As the name suggests, it's only a short walk down the road to get to the beautiful thermal springs. These naturally fed thermal springs are in Elsey National Park and stay at a warm 34 degrees Celsius all year round.
The crocs know to not go to the designated areas, very respectful.
I don't know if you can see it, but there is quite a lot of moss in here. And it's a little bit smelly, which is why people call Bitter Springs the stinky springs, but it's very nice and there's not that many people in here and they're not churning up all the moss. And you can just float down on a noodle. Oh, I just hit a log.
I'm so relaxed right now. It's like the right temperature and the right pace. Just like, I nearly fell asleep.
Next we headed to Mataranka Thermal Pool, which feels a little more man-made than Bitter Springs, but still has its natural and crystal clear water that stays warm year-round. A lot of people say that they prefer Mataranka over Bitter Springs, but I reckon if you've got the time, make sure you visit both to decide for yourself. Last but not least, Katherine Hot Springs. We headed here in the late afternoon and it was pretty packed, probably due to the fact that these springs are conveniently located just outside of Katherine Township. Can confirm, the Katherine Hot Springs are definitely not hot. This is refreshing compared to the NT weather. And despite the name Hot Springs, they're actually a really nice temperature of about 25 degrees. We're currently on our way to Nitmiluk National Park. We've booked a tour and we're going on the 3 Gorge tour, which is a 4-hour experience, which is exciting. We wanted to do this national park, but after doing some research, it looks like it would be mostly self-guided. So that being in the form of hikes, like, you know, you park your car and then you hike to one waterfall and then hike to another and then hike to a lookout. And it is so hot right now because we are like nearing the end of the dry season and we wake up in the morning and it's like pretty much already 30 degrees. So it's very, very hot and I think it just wouldn't be an enjoyable experience. Normally I would jump at the idea of doing a hike, especially because I have done no exercise this trip so far, which I'm feeling really guilty and ick about. It just wouldn't be a fun time to do hikes in this kind of heat. So we did book this tour really last minute yesterday. They still had they had 17 tickets left. So we booked 2 tickets. They were $189 each. So it is an investment, but I think it'll be a worthwhile one. We've spoken to 2 people now actually who have done this tour. It is an Indigenous owned and run company. So they do give you some cultural insight into the national park, which is really nice.
You're going to see some slide marks, some footprints, and also a sign that says crocodile nesting area, do not enter.
There are a few times in life when you can say you were made to feel small and it's positive. The gorges we got to witness on this tour were incredible and so humbling to travel through. We were so appreciative to have had the Indigenous Dreamtime stories shared with us throughout as well. This was a memorable experience that we'd highly recommend you check out.
We've made it to Litchfield National Park, and I don't know if you can see the line of sweat on my face, but it's 36 degrees, super humid, and we are so hot. So the current plan is we are camped at Wangi Falls campground. It's just a short, like 200-meter walk from the falls themselves. We've just pulled up, so we're setting up and kind of relaxing, getting our bearings before we head over to the water, because we've heard that this is a pretty busy spot. So just trying to chill out before we go over to the tourist chaos. We're booked here for 2 nights, and originally the plan was we were going to stay here 2 nights and then go to Florence Falls for 2 nights, which is only, I don't know, 25 minutes away. We drove past it on the way in, so I was thinking, oh, maybe I should have looked at the map and booked that one for the first 2 nights and then this one for the next. But I said to Josh, like, do you want to just base ourselves here? Because everything is really drivable in this national park. But we have an even better plan. There's a safari camp just down the road. Oh my god, I feel like I have lip sweat. And they have powered sites. So we're going to see how we deal with the heat over the next 2 nights and if it's unbearable, because look, we're a bit precious. We've actually been lucky enough to be at powered sites for the last, I don't know how many days, like feels like the last week. The aircon has seriously been a godsend. Like, have had the best sleeps. You know, when you're in the doona and you've got the aircon going, and it's just like, it doesn't matter because you're on a powered site. You don't have to conserve battery or anything. So been a bit spoilt with that. And now I feel like we are even less able to cope with the heat. Luckily, we are not in peak season. So I was just saying to Josh the other day, I think we did it the right way by not coming in peak season, because it is like abandoned here. In this campground, we're in site number 31. And to get here, we've had to drive around the whole thing. We only drove past 3 cars, like 3 setups. And I'm really hoping that that's the case when we get to the waterfall as well, because I've heard that Wangi Falls especially gets really, really busy with day visitors and with campers and things like that. So not coming in peak season has been an advantage in the sense that I only booked this 2 nights ago. We've met so many people who stayed here that said, oh my god, you're going to Litchfield, like you have to book in advance. And so I was a bit like, oh, I have to jump on and book everything. But I had no issues, there was plenty of availability. Now, luckily, we do have the choice to either stay here and just base ourselves here, or if we can't deal with the heat, we'll book that site down at the safari camp, the powered site. It's only $60 a night, so it is a bit more than obviously camping in these spots where you are unpowered, but it will be worth it for the aircon if we're struggling. If you want a visual demonstration of how hot it is right now, have a look at this. That is Josh's sweat. If that doesn't say humid, I don't know what will. But speaking of, we're heading down to the falls now to have a swim. And look, I won't lie, I'm always a bit nervy when it comes to swimming. And it's not because I can't swim. It's because I've just always had a thing about like what's underneath me. Like if you're in the ocean, I'm always thinking, is a shark underneath about to grab my leg? And in the Northern Territory, it's not unrealistic to think that with crocs, obviously, not sharks. We were on YouTube the other day because I wanted to look up Litchfield National Park and watch a few YouTubers and get some inspiration for when we were here. And this guy did a video and he was talking about how he was at Wangi Falls, and then the very next day on the news, someone had been bitten by a saltwater croc and rushed to Darwin Hospital. He survived with just like lacerations, but still there was like a 2-meter saltwater croc in this very creek. So it's not unrealistic to be scared because it does happen. I think it's kind of rare to be attacked because they do have such good trapping methods and, you know, survey the spots and they take all the precautions because these are popular swimming spots. But they say that when you swim in the Northern Territory, you really do take your life in your own hands, and it just freaks me out a bit. So I've heard that this one's a bit deep and dark, so don't know that I'll be swimming out to the middle. I'll have a look. If there's more people in there, maybe I will, because then, you know, there's more options for the crocodile to choose from, and perhaps I won't be its first choice of meal.
But this little red ball here looks, well, like a little red ball, but that is there so that if a saltwater croc comes along, apparently they're very inquisitive, they bite it and they leave a tooth mark about 3 fingers wide almost, apparently. So they literally just check these twice a day for tooth marks, and that lets them know if there's a saltwater croc around. Very rudimentary, but apparently it works. There's also some croc fences down here, and I'd say this all came after that bloke was attacked.
I mean, surely they would have always had some kind of... They know they come here.
Oh yeah, they definitely always had monitoring and stuff like that, but I would say that this has come after, I reckon. Otherwise, I mean, how did it even get in? This is the only way in.
I don't see any teeth marks in that.
Because they replaced it since yesterday.
So technically I'm in the water. Just on the step, because as we know, crocodiles don't go into the shallow.
They don't even have legs, so they can't work steps. Oh no, hold on, they do have legs, don't they? Yeah.
And they do run up on the beach. You can probably hear we're having an amazing rainstorm right now. It's just got to be one of the best parts of living in a van. Like right now, cooking dinner, sheltered in light, listening to the rain on the caravan, which just has the same effect as rain on a tin roof. It's so relaxing. Days like this, just so glad to not be in the rooftop tent.
Everything's getting nice clean, so I'm stoked. It's less work for me.
Good morning. It is day 2 in Litchfield and she's another scorcher, unsurprisingly. So today the agenda is swimming holes. We're going to go back to Wangi Falls, do another swim, then we're going to hit up Florence Falls, and what was the other one?
Bully Rock Hole or something?
Bully Rock Hole. Yesterday I did go back down to Wangi Falls and there was actually just one chick in the water at dusk, which I don't know if you've read anything about crocs. You don't go swimming at dawn or dusk because apparently that's when they're the most active. And she was right in the middle by herself. Her partner was flying a drone over and she would have had the most amazing shot. But all I could think was, oh my God, there's just no way. No shot would be worth that to me. But props to her. Got the shot for sure. But yeah, I think that kind of instilled a bit more confidence in me that there are no crocs. I was watching and yeah, feeling like the surveying and the trapping is working, and I'm going to have a bit more of a confident swim today. I survived.
Pick your own adventure. 135 stairs or a 1.1 kilometre walk?
Let's do the stairs. Going down.
But then we're going to come back up them.
So we just went for a swim down in Florence Falls and it was absolutely packed. It was really hard to film because obviously there's naked kids running around, and I think there was a whole school bus of children down there.
Yeah, it was kind of painful. But I guess that's what happens. It's sort of like, what did you call it? Trial and error or something like that?
Yeah, like it's hit or miss, you know. These are popular tourist spots and we are in the NT where you can barely swim anywhere. So when there are designated swimming areas, they're going to be busy. So you just got to enjoy yourself anyway. Is that a duck?
What was that?
Very graceful of me.
The Lost City is a series of impressive towering sandstones in Litchfield National Park. The vast array of these rock formations gives the impression of ancient city ruins. One very cool self-guided tour that you've got to check out.
The Reynolds four-wheel drive track was a fun challenge and a perfect way to spend the day, in our opinion. Did you see that? There's a river crossing.
Yeah, that's right. It's normal.
It's 44 kilometres long with awesome stops along the way.
That water crossing was pretty bloody deep. We just went past a rental four-wheel drive and I suspect he probably saw that and turned around. If it's coming up high on the ute, then you know it's pretty bloody high.
Whilst on the track, we headed to Blythe Homestead and Surprise Creek Falls. We've made it to Blythe Homestead and did 2 river crossings on the way, quite deep river crossings actually. And keep in mind that this is the dry season, so you can completely understand why this track is closed in the wet season. It would just not be passable at all. Josh has taken some pickies.
Yeah, this place is pretty as a picture.
Josh loves homesteads and historic buildings.
I want to move in. I'll spend the whole wet season here. Not in my home season.
Even me. Even I would bump my head getting in here, and that's rare. They must have been shorter in the 1920s. Do not sit or lay on bed. Can't say I look at that and think, wow, what a comfortable seat. I would love to lay down on this.
Do you look at it and even think, wow, that's a bed?
No.
I'm going to need you to read me that. I can only do pictures.
If you want to beat the crowds, Surprise Creek Falls is likely for you. It's a series of pools that are off the beaten track with a large one at the bottom and 2 up the rocks.
Exactly what you want to see when you're going swimming. Crocodile trap. No crocodile in it. That's good news because it means crocodiles somewhere out there.
So you can see the setup behind me. We are currently at a little gravel pit, just a free camp, sort of halfway from Katherine to Kununurra, getting attacked by flies. I don't know if you can see, but it's currently golden hour. I'm out taking a few pictures of the beautiful boab trees. Check out this scenery. I don't have a very good camera, like, it's okay, but it really doesn't do it justice. So I'm always out here trying to get the best picture. Josh's camera is amazing compared to mine, but I don't have the fancy lens or the polarizer or anything, so I'm just having a go, and I know nothing about photography, but you just can't deny that Australia honestly has the most beautiful landscape. I mean, this is a free camp off the side of the road, 3 hours of driving from Katherine, so I'll put a little link in the thing. I think it was called Dingo's Creek, Dingo something, and we just found on Wiki Camps because we were sick of driving, but this is honestly such a beautiful spot. So to let you in on a little secret of what we're up to, we resupplied in Katherine. Oh, I just tripped on a rock. We resupplied in Katherine and we are heading Kununurra way, drum roll, because we're hitting the Gibb River Road, which is super exciting, a big challenge. We follow a bunch of travel influencers, travel couples, whatever you want to call them, people who vlog their travels, and a lot of them are doing the Gibb River Road now, and we've seen a bunch of carnage, a bunch of chaos. Really don't want to break anything. We obviously had that little trial test run where the van did so well. The ute did amazing as always, but the van did amazing, so we have a bit of faith, bit of trust that we're going to get through unscathed. We did a bit of preventative maintenance yesterday. I just did the Woolies run. What I'm struggling with at the moment is just the heat. Like I said previously when we were at Litchfield that I think we picked the right time to travel because it really is just not packed. It's easy to get a booking. It's easy to head somewhere like this. I mean, this is a free camp off the side of nowhere, but we're the only ones here, which is amazing. It's so great to not have to share with other people. There's less people, it's easier to book, but it's just so hot, and like the flies were just going ham on me today, and it's like I'm super excited for the Gibb River Road. It's been on my bucket list for a hot minute. I think there's going to be some amazing waterholes, amazing hikes, and just all around good times.
We're slowing down now for the quarantine checkpoint into Western Australia. I reckon I've done almost every water crossing in WA you can do except this one. So, which is weird because it's not really that uncommon, but this is the border crossing along the Savannah Way into Western Australia. NT, you have been marvellous.
We're through the quarantine station at the border of NT and WA, and sadly we lost a whole bunch of fresh veggies that I just completely forgot about the quarantine between here and there, but that's okay because we're heading to Kununurra and we can stock up again. Luckily we had a couple bags of frozen veggies, so at least we've got a little bit there, but yeah, I lost some, what did they take? Watermelon, lemon, mandarin, and my whole jar of honey, but that's okay. It is what it is. Gotta keep the country safe, I suppose.
We've just pulled into Hidden Valley. What is it? I think I call it like a Hidden Valley Tourist Park, but it's a caravan park obviously. Got the ute behind me, a lovely mountain here, and the van all hooked up. The reason that we're here is because it's really our last night of luxury before the Gibb, and it's currently like 41 degrees. We want a night with the girl in aircon, and then, and only then, can we go tackle the Gibb. So we've supplied up a bit more and stuff like that, but yeah, this is just a little pit stop in Kununurra. Enjoy a pool, enjoy a bit of aircon, and then we are off into the red stuff, and it's going to be glorious.
So tonight, after special request from the cameraman, Josh himself, we are making cob loaf, or I'm making cob loaf for dinner. Josh, in 29 years of life, had never had cob loaf until recently, and now it's all he wants to eat. So while we're in Coles today, I don't know what prompted him, but he was like, let's have cob loaf, and I was like, okay, why not? Everyone knows it is such a good like entree, but if you want to eat it just between two of you, it can obviously be a main. I don't really remember how to make it. The last time I made it, I had a recipe online and I kind of winged it from there. So we'll see how we go, figure it out along the way. feel like this one is definitely a Christmas food. Like a lot of people have this one out for their Christmas Day prep. So little treat in, what are we, nearly October. First things first, what you need is a cob, which is this. And then what you're going to do is cut a circle on the inside, which serves as the bowl. So if you're not familiar, which I think most people would be, but if you're like Josh and you've never had cob loaf, it sort of serves as like a bread bowl, and you pull out the little bits of bread in the middle, and then you bake all of it. In this case, we're going to use the air fryer because we don't currently have an oven, but you bake it all, and then you use those little bits of bread that you've ripped off as sort of crackers. You can also add crackers and chips or whatever you want, but you dip them into the mix, and then that serves as the meal. The crackers, I don't know. And then so look, I'll warn you, it's not that healthy. It's a bit of a treat, full of cream. If you're lactose intolerant, perhaps steer clear, but since we have probably seen our last grocery store for a while, we thought, why not do it tonight? See, I am carefully creating a hole as I cut toward my body. You want to make sure you don't cut all the way through, because you'll obviously have a hole in the bottom of your bread, and then it doesn't have to be like too neat or anything, because we are going to rip this up anyway, but that's the general gist of it. You want to make a little bowl, and as you can see, I have done. I like to also hollow out the bowl a bit, just because obviously you can fit more of the dip in there, and you do obviously eat the bowl at the end as well, so a lot of bread. Don't have to wash this bowl off, that's a plus. Next we need a mixing bowl, and luckily we have bought a grand total of 1 bowl in van. Sour cream and cream cheese. We also bought chives. Is that all that we got from it? Mix it all together, dairy on dairy. Just like that. I hope this tastes like the last time I did it when I was following an actual recipe. Mix it all together. Probably helps that it is currently 40 degrees. I'm not wearing this bikini top because I think it'll get me more YouTube views. I'm so hot right now. And now I'm just going to add the chives. What do you reckon, the whole thing?
Yeah.
Not really going to use this for anything else, otherwise I probably wouldn't just say, hey, chuck all the ingredients in, but... And then last step, you can also, by the way, add other things in here, like cob loaf. It's really a remix kind of recipe. If you want to add bacon, if you want to add spinach, I think most people add spinach. To be honest, I just couldn't be bothered.
Asparagus.
Oh yeah, last time we did asparagus, that's what we forgot. You can do asparagus, you can do spinach, you could probably even do mushroom. Like I said, it's a remix recipe, do whatever you want, but you need to have spring onion flavouring, but we got soup, so we'll see. So back to my bread bowl. Going to just put everything in, like so. So now I'm just ripping apart the lid of the bread, because as I said, this serves as the crackers or whatever you want to call them that you're going to dip into the cob loaf once it's cooked. It's giving Martha Stewart.
She went to jail.
Oh. So there is actually an oven function on this air fryer, which is pretty handy in these kind of situations. So as you can see, I put the cob loaf all in its little tray. So I think I'm going to put it on for 20 minutes. And then I'll check it at like 160. I think that's good. Alright. So we'll check back in 20 minutes, see how we're going.